Hey, ladies, welcome to a special tech session of Black Women Making Money. I am Cherie. We are the home of the upwardly mobile Black woman. And if you have been living under a rock, there's a thing called artificial intelligence that is coming. ChatGPT is actually not coming, it's here. ChatGPT is here. There's so much happening with it that I wanted to invite one of our experts to come and talk about it, especially because I saw an article that said that 80% of women's jobs are going to be disrupted and affected by artificial intelligence. So, Ms. True Mystique is in the building. Hello, True Mystique.
Hi guys, how are you guys doing?
We are doing well. Thank you. Everybody, don't forget to like the video. If you're watching replay, please put replay in the comments. That way you are commenting and the YouTube algorithms can bless us. And we're just gonna have a good time tonight talking about artificial intelligence. So super excited to have everybody here this evening. I know you all are coming in. I'm C Samri and Christina and Computer and Coin here. For some reason it's not showing up on my comment section on StreamYard, but we're just going to continue on anyway. So ladies, I do see you. All right. So before I talk with True Mystique, though, we actually got an update with regards to student loans, True Mystique. Um, the Biden administration, I guess they worked all weekend and they came up with a way for us to legally have some leeway with regards to our student loan repayment starting date. So basically, what's happening here is that um, borrowers were scheduled to start repaying their loans in October. And of course, the Supreme Court struck down that we cannot get student loan forgiveness for up to $20,000. The Department of Education is instituting a 12-month, quote, on ramp to repayment, which is going to run from October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2024. So, ladies, this should give you some extra time to get yourselves together if you are having some financial issues. During that period, borrowers will be shielded from the worst consequences of missed payments. That can include garnishments and things like that, tax issues, etc. When I say tax issues, I mean that if you don't, repay your student loans, potentially they are able to take your refund from you, all of that stuff. Um, they are saying that this aid is not another payment pause extension because they cannot do that anymore because when Biden agreed with the Republicans to lift the debt ceiling, that was taken off the table. So instead, what they've done is borrowers are going to be spared from many of the usual consequences of missing a payment until October of next year. For example, loans will not go into default and delinquencies will not be reported to credit reporting agencies, said higher education expert Mark Krankowitz. Late fees also are not going to be charged. The 12-month on ramp is similar to a forbearance in many ways. But as is the case with the forbearance, interest will continue accruing on your debt while you are not making payments. So, if you can start making your payments, definitely do that. But if you have financial issues, I still suggest you contact your financial institution that has your loan, talk with them, fill out whatever paperwork you need to fill out in order to take advantage of this. But, ladies, I definitely wanted to make sure all of you got that good information as well. So, with that, we've got Kay Sherelle in the building. We've got QB. We've got Nia X. Denise is in the building. I apologize, ladies. Something must be up with StreamYard because your comments are not showing for me in the comment section like it usually is. So I'm gonna have to toggle back and forth in order to see your comments. True Mystique.
Hello, hello.
Hello, welcome. So, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got started on YouTube and what your channel is about.
Oh boy. That's a that's a very not long, but first of all, thank you for having me. Thank you so much for bringing me onto your platform. I really do appreciate it. When I first started my YouTube channel, I first started it really, I think, my senior year of college. I wanted it to be more like personal development and giving advice. But then that didn't work. And then I tried going on and doing more popular topics. It worked for a bit, but then it got too cumbersome and it was just too draining and too taxing for me. And
Hmm.
then just recently, I decided to go on the whole AI rabbit hole journey and play with it, learn more about it. And then I was like, I can do something with this. And I especially wanted to bring it back to us because we are like the least likely to be involved in these types of spheres and these types of spaces. So I just wanted to take my fascination and what I've learned with AI, bring it to my audience and teach it and expose us to it in a way that's not really, it's not really scary, so to speak, because I know a lot of people have a lot of fears and apprehension behind AI, and it's warranted and it's completely understandable because I have some of these same reservations as well. But there are some aspects of AI that we can actually use to benefit us and increase our productivity and even make money off of it. So
Hmm.
that
And
that's ended up.
I love that. I love the way that so I was able to come in and listen to your lesson the other day, and you did a great job to the point where I'm like, because I'm doing a couple of business plans for people, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's how I can use it and kind of introduce some of the techniques to what I'm trying to do within ChatGPT, because I've been flying by the seat of my pants.
Mhm.
but your explanations of how to actually get it to write for you, to learn from the way that you write and then to write for you
Mhm.
in that same tonality. I really love that. And I'm definitely going to be using that actually tomorrow because I've got a business plan in order to finish up. So everybody, I don't know what's happening with StreamYard, but StreamYard is not showing your comments. So I'm just going to come and look in YouTube. I see Shar is in the building saying greetings. She's also reminding everybody for exclusive content, you want to be at bwmakingmoney.com. And also, True Mystique has given me two documents for me to share with all of you. But guess what? You can only get them if you are on my email list. So, bwmakingmoney.com. If you're having trouble seeing that website when you are on your browser or anything like that, change browsers, because I've had a couple of people say that they aren't able to see the information when they go to bwmakingmoney.com. So just change browsers and then it is showing up for people. So QB said, finally got me to I guess you're saying open up to OpenAI, so definitely made it less scary for me. So QB is giving you your props. Invincible Summer is in the building. Honey James is here saying, my company literally just did layoffs today. By God's grace, I was saved, but I still don't trust the company overall. Well, Honey James, you were in the right place. I'm glad that you were saved this time from layoffs, but definitely want to give you some tools tonight to help you with that. So, um, True Seek, I want to start off with a couple of articles that I found
Mhm.
here. And I'm not going to read through all of these articles. I just saw a couple of key sentences that I wanted to kind of point out to the ladies. So the first one is this article that came out a couple of weeks ago. Jobs are now requiring experience with ChatGPT, and they'll pay as much as $800,000 a year for the skill. Um, but
Oh yeah,
what
I saw this one. Yeah, I think
Mhm.
this is one of the ones I saw. Yeah.
So it's saying here a recent study from the job site Resume Builder found that, ladies, listen to this. 91% of companies with open positions are looking to hire workers who knew how to use OpenAI's buzzy chatbot. Respondents said ChatGPT helped boost productivity, save time, and bolster the company's bottom line. That does not mean artificial intelligence is set to replace human labor. AI will not take your job, says the economist Richard Baldwin during the 2023 World Economic Forum. Ladies, listen to this sentence. This is what had me stop. It says here, it's somebody using AI who will take your job. So I want to repeat this because I need y'all to listen. AI is not going to take your job. It's somebody using AI who will take your job. What do you think about that sentence and that sentiment, True Mystique?
That's absolutely correct. Like a lot of the jobs that are going to be pushed forth come moving forward, you're going to have to know how to utilize not just chat gpt but ai in general, because there's going what it is now there's going to be a lot of reluctance towards using this type of technology.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who don't want to use the technology or aren't familiar with it, I think those are the first jobs that are going to go by the wayside. So this
Yep.
is definitely going to be a step in the direction of the changing landscape of the job market overall.
So, one of the things, and I had this conversation with Tam as well when we had our conversation, is not just playing around with it, but understanding that one of the soft skills that all employers are looking for are problem solving skills and critical thinking skills. How do we show that within our jobs with using ChatGPT? Because I don't think it's enough for people to say, "Oh yeah, I logged in once and I used it," because then the employer or the interviewer is
Mhm,
going to ask, "Well, what did you do with it? What project
mhm.
did you fulfill with it?"
Yeah, yeah.
Am I crazy, first of all? And second, what are some ways where people can actually use it within their jobs to actually
Mhm.
show a project from start to finish was done?
Okay. Well, no, you're not crazy. Jobs are gonna require for you to use problem solving skills. I'm more on the like personally for me, I'm on the more independent, like freelancing route, but I have used Chat GPT to help me automate something. I'm working on a an Etsy shop right now, and I use ChatGPT 4 with the Bing feature, the web browsing feature, to help me use a low code, no code automating system to connect my Etsy to to a database to send an email whenever somebody purchases a specific item from me. So that's a definitely a creative way in which Chat GPT can help facilitate with problem solving skills.
Hmm.
Um, Another way in which Chat GPT can help you with problem solving skills is um definitely with writing, and definitely if you know how to talk to the machine, and especially if you're gonna have to shell out money. I do personally recommend shelling out $20 a month for the plus version because it's more robust.
Hmm.
uh it could definitely help you synthesize information from a multitude of sources, and well, specifically in GPT-4 more so than the free version in Chat GPT 3.5. Does it make that make sense?
Yeah, that definitely
Yeah.
makes sense. So,
Yeah.
um, I think that I am now convinced that I'm just going to pay the $20 a month myself because I want to get access to GPT-4, and I'm working with somebody on a software that's going to use GPT-4 in order to help people write business plans. Um, so, definitely adding that in. But even thinking about people's jobs, if you're an accountant, for example, put in ChatGPT accounting use cases and see what
Mhm,
people are using it for, and then actually like going into your employer and saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm flexing my muscle. I want to use ChatGPT. Now be careful because ChatGPT don't put any non-public information in
mhm,
there. Don't ask it for non-public information, where your employer could be compromised. But I think that there are a lot of use cases out there for a lot of different individuals and different companies, different industries, etc. That would
Mhm.
be the way that I would kind of help people or suggest people think about using this, because without a use case for yourself, whether it's what True Mystique is doing, where she's using it for her Etsy shop, she's using it on her side hustle, or your full time job, I think that your resume is going to be lacking. And
Mhm.
right now, even adding these things to your LinkedIn, if you think people aren't scouring for your industry in either ChatGPT or GPT-4 or GPT 3.5, you're sorely mistaken. you know, so you might get a $30,000, $40,000 bump just because you add a couple of lines in to your LinkedIn for your job, or you have on your headline, let's say you do a certificate of completion on a Udemy course or something like that, and you put that in your headline, right by your name. So
Mhm.
um, I'm definitely suggesting people think about that. So ladies, I had mentioned before that for whatever reason, StreamYard is not showing your comments in StreamYard. So I just have to come and greet you. I am looking here. I see Dawn to Earth is here. Rana Love thought she was late, but True Mystique said, no, my dear, you are not late. India is in the building. India is saying I use ChatGPT to create video scripts for my job. First a written script, then I use another AI to make voiceovers. Very cool.
Mhm.
Invincible Summer is here saying universities are beginning to teach AI as well. I'm taking a course for AI in public health next semester for my master's program. Good for you. Centria is in the building. Tech RX is here. ChatGPT is the first phase of the deep reinforcement learning algorithm. The core of any AI is data understanding what data is utilized. Absolutely.
Mhm. Mhm.
You done is saying, well, $20 a month it is. Yeah, look, you gotta. This is why I always say that one of the things you need to have are resources so that you can invest in yourself and invest in your upward mobility. So, Ron is asking what jobs would be useless under AI. Rana, let's come back to that. Let's come back to
Mhm.
that. Computer and Coin is saying I use generative AI regularly. It's helping in writing business items and contracts. Perfect. Let's take a look at the next article that I have here. And I literally am just showing you this for one reason. This woman is a prompt engineer here. This is her. This is a woman here. She's saying, you don't need a computer science background for the sought after job of an AI prompt engineer. Teodora Danilovich became one, y'all, listen to this, shortly after graduating with a philosophy degree. The girl studied philosophy, okay? She's saying here she used her knowledge of logic and linguistics, but had to gain some technical skills on the job. Ladies, I don't want to hear any excuses. You studied marketing, you studied communications, you studied theater, anything like that. If this chick can get into prompt engineering and she's making she said later on in the article she's not making 300,000, but she's got a very good salary. So I'm going to put her at about 125 to 150. If she's doing it, you damn sure well can do it. True mistake?
Oh, absolutely. Oh man, prompt engineering, especially because it's a new field.
Mhm.
Definitely, a lot of companies, this is something that they're trying to seek out for because they need people to be able to train the chatbot and train the AI on their job with their job's information specifically. So if you know how to talk to the computer and you know how to make it get the results that can streamline the process for that company, you'd be golden.
Yeah, absolutely. Cuban saying, wow, that's a big jump. Yeah, it is a big jump. The girl got the girl got a useless degree, quote unquote. Shout out to
Mhm.
the manosphere. And now she now because she's got critical thinking skills, she's got this job as a prompt engineer. I don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, a
Edom
lot of
Lopez, go ahead.
what I've noticed with a lot of quote unquote useless degrees, it does require a lot of critical thinking and innovation.
Mhm.
So it's not useless. You just have to know how to use it. And unfortunately, a lot of the people that are talking against it, they don't have the critical thinking skills. So yeah.
Absolutely. Look, I 1,000% agree. E. Dunlap is saying, I will need a primer in logic and linguistics, among other things, honestly. You may not. You may need to just figure out like what your skills are. And ultimately, everybody is trying to get to an endpoint with
Mhm.
ChatGPT. If you can get the system to that endpoint, then that's all you need. Um, Dawn to Earth is saying, I just found a ChatGPT course on Coursera. Good for you. That I'm taking, that I'm going to take. It's a beginner's class, so I'm looking forward to it. Good for you. Coursera is a great place. Udemy, I was looking on Udemy this past weekend. Coursera is a great place for you to take classes. There are other independent people who have classes. So definitely. Um, QB saying feels like the introduction of EMR in nursing. I guess you're talking with Computer and Coin. So yeah. Oh, E. Dunlop is saying liberal arts, humanities, etc. still matter. Is what you are saying. I don't have a
Yes.
college degree, but what to learn whatever I can, would
Mhm.
want to learn whatever I can. Absolutely. So the biggest things a lot of people don't think about when we're listing soft skills is soft skills include things like critical thinking, problem solving, communication, leadership, um, conflict resolution, things like that. So that's what a lot of these companies are looking for. And one thing that we as Black women do well is we know how to be resourceful, how to problem solve, et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I kind of want you to think about more so than, oh, shoot, I've got this communications degree. I'm not working in my field. What do I do? Nia is saying, as it stands now, ChatGPT only has info prior to September 2021. I'm gonna need them to update it. If I pay $20, it better tell me current stuff. Does it tell you current stuff if you pay the 20?
Uh, if you pay the 20, no. It did have the browsing by Bing. That's the closest thing to it. But as of
Mhm.
Monday, they actually disabled it because I think some people used it to like bypass paywalls for like articles. I think with like Business Insider and all those like
Ah,
content that requires a paywall. So they're like, oh, we're gonna disable it for the time being and fix it. I guess put a patch in it and
mhm.
then roll it out.
Roll
When
it out.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. So I'll be honest, I'm writing a business plan now. I'm using ChatGPT, and then I'm going to be leading a class using it in August. And I was just told I have to do my own research between 2021 and now and
Yes.
feed it into the system. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I don't have to sit there and write, all I have to do is do the research and then just spit out a couple of, halfway coherent sentences and let it do the rest is going
Mm-hmm.
to save me an immense amount of time. I cannot wait for it to do the financials. Y'all have no idea. Like that's what I spent all day doing is working on this person's financials. Um, but I want to come to the article that actually caused me to create tonight's session. It is from CNN. It says nearly 80% of women's jobs could be disrupted, automated by artificial intelligence. So let's read through this really quickly. And True Mystique, as you see things, definitely chime in, okay?
No problem.
It's saying here more prime working age women are employed in the United States than ever before. The
Mm-hmm.
labor force participation rate for women between the ages of 25 and 54 set a record high in April and then again in May, rebounding from the pandemic she session and returning to its pre-pandemic form. Is saying now that could all change with AI. Generative artificial intelligence technologies like ChatGPT have the potential to transform the labor market, exposing the majority of the nation's jobs to automation. Goldman Sachs economists have projected. The technology can create new content such as text, images, audio, video, and coding from training data that includes examples of that desired output. However, recent research shows that although outnumbered by men in the US workforce, women could be disproportionately affected by businesses' adoption of generative AI. Ladies, I am here to say every business is going to adopt this.
Mm-hmm.
Every business. So if you think, oh, I'm going to be protected because, whatever, you're in la la
Mm-mm.
land. It's also saying here one recent analysis estimates that 79% of working women, which is about 59 million women, are in occupations susceptible to disruption and automation. That's compared to 58% of working men.
Mm.
I'm going to read one more paragraph and I'm going to bring in True Mystique. Estimates that nearly 8 out of 10 women workers could be affected are just staggering, says Julia Pollack. That said, she's the chief economist with ZipRecruiter. That said, and I think intuitively many of us appreciate that it'll be easier to automate some of these office jobs than it will be to automate carpenter jobs, electrician jobs, and pest removal jobs. Many of these manual services and production jobs that are far more male heavy. So basically, one of the big reasons this is happening is because so many women have office jobs and artificial intelligence is affecting office jobs. Now,
Mm-hmm.
fellas, just in case I got a cloud watcher, y'all can put your tap dancing shoes down just a bit because you got robotics that's coming for the blue collar,
Yep.
unskilled workers.
Mm-hmm.
And AI is coming for unskilled office workers,
Yep.
unskilled being the key word. Go ahead, Trumacy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. If you are in any position, either in white collar or blue collar, where you are surplus labor, unskilled surplus labor, yeah, you're about to get the axe if you don't get some skills. We thought that automation was actually going to come for blue collar workers first, but I think everybody in these spaces were surprised that it came for white collar work, and especially white collar, like administrative and a lot of creative jobs were some of the first ones that's on the chopping block. I don't think that anybody expected it.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these jobs are more so held by women, again, because they're more clerical, they're more administrative, and women are, I would like to say, we're kind of pigeonholed to these types of fields, these types of professions versus blue collar work, which makes it easier to automate. Now, I want to add my theory. This is my personal opinion. This isn't Cherie's opinion or opinion of anybody. I just believe that I think this is so because society, in my eyes, has always devalued women's work and contributions of women, particularly now as it pertains to like education. Now you see people talking down on education, talking down on degrees ever since women have overwhelmingly entered the educational sphere. And now certain jobs are now seen in less regard, even as it pertains to monetarily, whereas women are paid less than men um, for the same reason. It's going to be staggering because, in general, now I saw a study that said that women now outnumber men in the workforce. But even
Mm-hmm.
before that was true, Black women outnumbered any other race of women in the workforce. So that's going to especially be hard on Black women, especially Black women who are more so either the breadwinners or the sole breadwinners or the co-breadwinners of their households. That's going to definitely impact us negatively.
Unless we're skilled labor.
Yep. Yep.
Unless we're skilled labor, which is why I keep pushing for you to, as all of the ladies that are here, really get started in thinking about how you're going to leverage ChatGPT as part of your skill set because you need skill stacking as many skills as possible in order to insulate you from what's about to come. So it is, stopping you from being put on the list of layoffs with regards to your jobs. And then the other part is, how do you then take it and level up and get better jobs or start a business or have better opportunities out there? So
Mm.
there are a couple of other people here. Tori Dahl is in the building, saying True Mystique was showing us how to use ChatGPT to create an outline. It's a very helpful tool. Yeah, she did a great job the other night in her session, ladies. So definitely go to True Mystique's channel and subscribe. I cannot recommend it enough. Centria is saying, I'm an illustrator and already heard layoffs in creative fields. So she's agreeing with you. I've heard about those as well. A lot of writers. This is part of the reason they're having
Yeah, the writer
the
strike.
writer strike.
Mhm.
Exactly. And I have an aunt who've written two very popular Black films. If I told you the films, you would know what they are. They've been seen by practically every Black person. And she's a part of the writer strike as well because of AI. They don't want to
Mm.
teach AI how to take them out of a job. So, um, what is white collar label work? I think you mean white collar, Rana. If that's what you mean, do you mean white collar work? That's our skilled labor for being in the office. That's all that means. It means you're working in an office.
Mhm.
Well, you can be skilled or unskilled with white
Mhm.
collar, but it means you're working in an office. Versus blue collar is the guys plumbing and all of that stuff. Um, Creatives and programs are, quote, skilled labor, but even that can be cut reduced. That is correct. That is correct. You got to bring something else to the table these
Mhm.
days. So you're saying, yes, that's what you mean, Rana. Good, good. Yeah, it's the white collar. Okay, let's read a little bit more of this article. Um, they are continuing to quote this Julia Pollock woman from ZipRecruiter. Is saying here, she added, I think there are legitimate reasons to be worried that some of the gains that women made could be eroded, at least temporarily. You just said that, True Mystique. You could have written this article. We need her. She also saying here, these technologies will also surely create many, many opportunities. A higher percentage of working women are employed in white collar jobs, blah, blah, blah. We already talked about that. Some of the most AI exposed occupations, ladies, with a majority female employee base are office and administrative support. So, support, ladies, if you are office or administrative support, you need to skill up. Healthcare practitioners and technical, education, training, and library, healthcare support, another support, and community and social services. These are some of the most exposed. I think there'll always be a human element to these, for example, healthcare, education, training, etc. But I think what's going to happen is, if a woman is not keeping up with her skills with regards to chat gpt, with regards to gbt-4,
Mhm.
her skills may be obsolete. And so I think women would be able to keep their jobs as long as they maintain their skills
Yeah,
within.
as long as they're adaptable to the market and the
Mhm.
ever-changing landscape of especially technology and AI, as long as they do that and bring like extra skills to the table, they should be fine.
Right. So it's saying here, it's not always going to relate to, quote, I'm losing my job. I think it's really a matter of if there's something that a person can do to add
Yes.
value. So using it to add value. I'm going to skip this section because we don't care about the bounce back or all of that, the pandemic, etc. It's saying here, along comes AI. Revelio Labs, which specializes in the collection and analysis of publicly available workforce data, recently identified the most AI exposed occupations and the gender and ethnicity distributions among them. Rebellio's analysis showed that the AI exposed positions with the highest percentage of women include bill and account collectors, 82.9%, payroll and timekeeping clerks, 79.7%. Some of you ladies are in payroll. HR, payroll, I'd be careful.
Mhm. Mhm.
Executive secretaries, I think a really great executive secretary will use ChatGPT to help. Word processors and typists, and bookkeeping, accounting, and auditing clerks. So all of my ladies in accounting, be aware. Um, in the most AI exposed occupations, women make up 71% of the employees. Sometimes in the AI conversation, we take a perspective, which I think is a false perspective, that the task composition of a job is static, that a job is a job and it has fixed responsibilities. But that's not really the case. Jobs transform all the time. So I think we've been talking about this as well. What are your thoughts with regards to this section of the article?
Okay, I definitely agree that a lot of these, like, basically jobs that require just inputting data and data collection, that's definitely going to be one of the ones that are mainly so on the chopping block. And one of the ways in which I feel like people can avoid being on the chopping block, I keep on reiterating adaptability. You have to be adaptable to learning new things, especially with how AI is forever changing and how it's forever changing not only in our personal lives but in professional lives as well. You have to be aware of it and you have to consistently be willing to learn new things, new skills and ways in order to implement that. So that adaptability is definitely going to be one of the biggest soft skills moving forward that, funny enough, most people don't want to be. Most people don't want to be adaptable. Most people are just, they like comfort, they
Mm-hmm.
like consistency, they, a lot of, especially a lot of people, they just like to be, oh, this is my job, this is my task and standards, that's it, I don't want to deviate from this, I get paid to do this, I'm just going to do that. That's not really the best ideology to go moving forward, because if you have that mentality, well, you can consider yourself, I hate to say it, and it's not me saying it, it's the market saying that, you're probably going to consider yourself out of a job with that kind of
Mm-hmm.
mentality. Also, if you're an effective communicator, that would also be a prominent soft skill going forward. Um, let's see, account collectors, word processors, bookkeeping. I don't see really where these jobs directly deal with communication, maybe like on some higher level, but to the basics of that job title, it doesn't really, to me, scream out, oh, this is a person who's an effective communicator. Um, but yeah, I keep on, the main thing that I keep on reiterating is adaptability, adaptability, adaptability.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be going into these jobs with the mindset of, I have to be ready for whatever comes my way, and I have to be open and willing and ready to learn new things if need be, because your job and the landscape of your own job could switch tomorrow. And if
Mm-hmm.
it does switch tomorrow, are you ready to take on what's going to come with it? Are you willing and ready to learn new things, new technologies? A lot of these technologies might be scary. Maybe some of the technology that your specific job have, it might have a learning curve. So are you going to be willing to just sit down, focus, and learn that to gain the skills and to be better and to improve your skill stack so you can convey to your employer that you are valuable to the company and you would be an important person to the company to ensure that the company can function correctly. Because if I just feel like if you don't show your value to the company, it's definitely, they're going to see you as easily replaceable. It's
Right.
unfortunate, but that's how capitalism is, and they don't care about anything else. They just care about their bottom dollar. It's unfortunate, but that's how it is.
So you kept mentioning the word adaptability, which is another soft skill in the list. I'm going to give another word, and that is proactive.
Hmm.
It's one thing to be adaptable when somebody comes to you and says, okay, now you need to learn ChatGPT. Now
Yeah.
you need to learn how to do prompts. It's another thing to be proactive in it.
Mhm.
And go to your boss and say, or your boss's boss, y'all know I like going to the boss's boss as well, saying, hey, I just signed up for this Udemy course. Or better yet, hey, boss's boss, uh, I found this great course. It's going to be a couple $100 because it's super specialized for our industry, etc. Does the company have the money to pay for me to go through this and, get some advanced prompt engineering for our industry? That
Mhm.
way, you're showing initiative, you're bringing a skill back to the company, and they're paying for it, you know?
Mhm.
I did see within Coursera, there was a course from, I think it's Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt, yes.
Yes, yes. So talking to your employer and seeing if they would spring for that
Mhm.
course. If they don't, you can still take it and add it on your LinkedIn, ladies, because I assure you, these recruiters, they're going to be putting in those key terms, and you want to
Mhm.
show up. You want to show up. So, Computer and Coin is saying digital upskilling is so important no matter the industry folks work in, especially those that use any type of computer based work. Centria is saying, I'm concerned that they'll put out these AI programs before really testing to see if it works. Meanwhile, it's the smaller workforce that ends up manually dealing with problems. Well, ready or not, the AI is here. So, we can't be concerned about them testing it, right? That's above our pay grade. The guy, Sam Altman from OpenAI, he testified in front of Congress, but ultimately, we can't have the US not working on its programs here and the rest of the world working on their programs. So, because China and Russia and these other places said, no, we're going to work on our AI programs, and the US is going to work on them here. So that's geopolitics for you.
Mhm.
Sammy is saying a way to stay afloat would be to show how you can use AI to make your work more efficient. I agree with that.
Mhm.
Donna Earth is saying, I can't even imagine the economic downturn that would happen if 80% of women lost their jobs, especially Black women who basically had 80% of Black households. So let's have this conversation. Black women, if you are not adaptable, as True Mystique said, and if you are not proactive, as I said, you will practically, definitely lose your job. There is no reason for Black women to lose their jobs if you have those two um, character traits. So I wouldn't worry about that. I would just worry about being ahead of the curve with regards to the skills that you need. Um, I'm going to make another comment here. We talked about the Supreme Court. Um, you know, they didn't outlaw affirmative action, but they said you can't use affirmative action in classes. And I said last Thursday when that came out, I said, look, ladies, I think DEI has 5 to 10 years. The more I'm hearing about what's happening in corporate America and how corporate America is navigating this, it's closer to 5 years and it may be 3 years. um,
Yikes.
I'm restating what I'm saying because there was a story that 4 Black women who were the heads of their DEI departments in major companies lost their jobs the day after the Supreme Court ruling came out. I
Ooh.
think DEI, yes, I think DEI is going to be on the chopping block. DEI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think it's on the chopping block, ladies. I give it 5 years, but I've really pushed for 2 or 3 with regards to your mindset. That means you'd better get ready with what? Technical skills and soft skills that I'm always preaching to you, and your multicultural networks, networking at least twice a month. If you can find a meetup to go to or an organization to belong to and go and just meet people twice a month, you can shield yourself from this. but it's coming, ladies. It's coming. So I'm just trying to warn you all. Um, let's
Yeah,
read a little.
that's
Go
oh,
ahead.
that's that. I said that was crazy. The day after, oh my, yeah,
Hmm.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a wrap. It's a done deal. Yeah.
So the other interesting thing about the DEI positions is 75% of them were already held by white men. And then when so those white men can just scrap the
Oh
DEI,
boy.
head of DEI, VP of DEI, and just move to another position in the company. But those four women specifically were Black women of like Fortune 500 companies, and they were all let go the day after. So I'm just warning you. Um, don't take any jobs in DEI. You know, if you're already in HR, that's great. But if you're not, if you're looking for the types of jobs that will have more cushion, tech sales, or some of the things that Tam said from Women in Linux, or prompt engineering, something like that. Find something that is a true technical skill, ladies. True technical skills. Alexis
Mhm.
saying, I give DEI 2 years as well. With the decrease in hiring, there's already an uptick in recruiters and HR people looking for roles. Yep. Samri is saying, oh, yeah, tons of companies got on the bandwagon during the BLM. Yes, exactly. And
Yep.
right after started laying off the same departments that the country moved on. Hey, level up single mom. Hello. Um, yes, Dawn to Earth, most DEI positions are held by white men. Yes,
Yes.
I saw an article on it. Jay Antoinette is saying, in light of this, should we disclose our race, ethnic background on job applications or just let our skills speak for themselves? Um, I don't really have an answer for that. That's a Mentor Shelley question more than a me. I would kind of think it would depend on what you do and the job you're going after, and if they're really looking for more diversity or if they just need people with the technical skills, and they don't care who you are. Um,
Yeah, I would not if I'm getting a new job. I don't want to put my race on it because it's like, what's the point?
yeah,
To me.
yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree with that. Like, I probably would keep mine off, even though they'll go to your LinkedIn page and they'll see that you're Black anyway.
True.
You know. Um, let's see here. Um, There are things that cannot be replaced by a machine. Dr. Sarah Mannheimer, who received a PhD in library and information science, is working under a grant for the Institute of Museum and Library Services and leading a team of researchers to explore how AI could be used ethically in libraries and archives. So, again, she is taking um, her specialization and adding AI to it, ladies, adding
Mhm.
ChatGPT to it. I think that's going to be the best way for you to do it. So with that, that is this article here. Did you want to, True Mystique? Did you want to kind of go over some of
Oh,
your
the
information?
prompting.
Uh huh.
Okay. But this wow, this freebie type thing
Yeah, so
or
we've got 2 freebies. Actually, True Mystique has them. I will be sending them to everybody, but you gotta be on my email list, bwmakingmoney.com, bwmakingmoney.com, but I want True Mystique to kinda go over them really quickly, and then sign up for my email list this evening. I'll send it out around 10 o'clock tonight, Eastern Time.
okay, so I just basically threw this together. This is essentially just a summary of the about 30-minute video that I did about ways in which you can be an effective prompt engineer. Well, talk to the machine, talk to the chat GPT. And basically, can you just scroll down, Sheree? Um
Yeah, give me a
yeah.
sec. I've got a lot of stuff open here. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, in order to be effective with your prompts and talking to the chat GPT, you have to be specific with what it is that you want the end result to be. So defining the prompt's purpose. So just essentially just tell it what it is that you want to do. Do you want to create a blog post? Do you want to create an outline for an article? You want to create a newsletter? Come up with titles for YouTube videos? You don't even have to do anything creative. You could use it to help you study for a test. You could use it to help you create like a workout plan or a diet plan, or even create grocery list if you want to adhere to a particular type of diet. That's what I've been testing a whole bunch of things to use. So just tell it what it is that you want it to achieve for you. And then with that, be as specific as possible. Give as many details as possible. The more details that it has, the better the results will be. But I did realize that there is a limit to how much you can input at one time, which I'm going to go over it, I think, at the very last point. There is a cutoff. Sometimes you have to play with it and give it instructions, like maybe a paragraph at a time, two paragraphs at the time, the most, so they can understand it. But when you give it instructions, be very detailed, be very thorough, so it can gather what it is that you want. Um, Also, asking it to role play doesn't help. I mean, it helps. Let's say you are a marketer. You can say, hey, ChatGPT, pretend that you're a digital marketer for about 10 years. How can I generate this result using X, Y, and Z? So you can use it to pretend to be something in your particular field, so it has more of a knowledge base and more of a reference on giving you a clear and complete answer. And then just give it as much background information as you can. The more background information you give it, the better, especially when you want to program it on your own writing or your own information. It needs that background information so that you can understand it and give it back to you in a way that you describe it. Like when I did my live stream the other day, I gave it my own personal writing. So it was able to analyze my own personal writing style, give me a description of that writing style. And then I say, well, give it back to me. But then I want it in this format. Like I want to create a book about this topic. So it would give you back the style and the tone that you give it. Then you also have to be very clear and concise with your language. You have to use simple language. Sometimes it gets mad at you when you use complicated language. Sometimes when you use drawn out sentences and complicated languages, it doesn't understand. And then you kind of have to scold it and correct it and get it back on track. It
Or
does that.
slang.
I've had to fight with it a couple of times.
Mhm.
But yeah, you have to use simple, straightforward languages. You could tell it, oh, if you don't like the way that it sounds, if it's too drawn out, oh, please truncate this, or please simplify this, or please correct this for speech and grammar, etc. And then the best way to follow up and to iterate on your prompts is to ask it follow up questions. So one of the biggest follow-up questions to ask it is, do you understand the prompt? Because sometimes if you don't ask that question, it will give you something completely unrelated to what it is that you asked it. So you want to ask it, hey, do you understand what it is that I'm telling you? And then it's going to spit out what it is that it thinks you're asking it. And if it's correct, continue. If it's not, just further explain it in a way that the chat GPT can understand.
One of the favorite things that you said last week is it wants you to say please.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and I and I said, well, man definitely wrote that because it wants you to be
Yeah.
soft and
It
all
wants
of
you to
that
talk to
with
it
it.
nice, and it's
Yes.
crazy. I'm just like, oh, wow.
Oh, goodness, I thought that was funny. So everybody, again, you'll be able to get this if you're signed up to my email list. And TrueSeek also has a second resource here, AI and prompt engineering resources. So she's got newsletters on here, YouTube channels. H Educate, I really like his stuff. He has beginner stuff and he also has advanced stuff
Yes.
as well. He's
Yep.
very good. I haven't heard
Mhm.
of these other individuals, but some of you may decide to take this up, and this could be your career or it could be a side business. Y'all need to pay
Mhm.
back your student loans. Trust me. I've been on Fiverr, and people now have like their shingles up for prompt engineer.
Mhm.
Um, your Discord groups here,
Yeah, his
open.
I couldn't find, but the rest of them, yeah.
That's fine. OpenAI, Midjourney. I will tell you that I received an invite for a loan officer AI Facebook group. So you're
Oh wow.
starting to get your industry AI and ChatGPT, I think it was what it was called, Facebook groups, or Discord groups, etc. So that way they send you only information for your industry and how people are using ChatGPT and AI in your industry. And you have some courses here as well. So you've got a Udemy course, a Coursera course, and learnprompting.org. Is learn prompting your
No,
business?
no, 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 no. That's like a open source. That's a free that's just a free like text-based course that I found
Okay.
online. Yeah.
All right, cool. Is there anything you wanted to highlight in this resource list that you think people should know about?
I think one of the best ones to help you is definitely H Educate.
Hmm.
He has a playlist of like prompt engineering courses and things like that. I dabbled a little bit in Python. I was studying Python once upon a time, so I did use it, that Python course that he created, to download it to my computer and try to create plugins
Hmm.
for it. So he definitely breaks it down very very succinctly. So I think he's one of the ones that you should definitely look into.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think he's one of the best that I've seen, definitely. And he's got beginner stuff as well as some advanced stuff. So, well, I thought that today's session was really great, True Mystique. I cannot say enough how people should not take this information and say, oh, what a great live stream we had, and then don't do anything with it because
Yeah.
you are going to be hurting
Mhm.
when it is time for you to actually, when they start writing lists because the economy, some people there's not going say there's not going to be a recession. Other people think that it's still looming. Um, you know, uh, Depending on your skills and where you work and things like
Yeah.
that, you may just want to have some cushion for
Mhm.
yourself.
I would err on the I would err on the side of caution that there is a recession coming. So do what you have to do in order to protect
Hmm.
yourself. That's just
Yeah.
me. But
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I agree with that. I know for myself, I'm preparing for a recession. I'm preparing for the real estate market to. I don't know if the prices are going to take a dive or if people are just going to need to get rid of their. Some people are going to need to get rid of their houses because there's so a
Mhm.
lot of cash buyers that are out there. Um, Also, there was an article I saw in two places that said that commercial real estate is not going to uptick again until 2040,
Oh wow.
ladies. 20, I think it was 2040. It was either 2040 or 2030. Whatever it was like a crazy year. It is not next year. So a lot of stuff is going to be need or is going to be changing within the economy. Another article that I saw said that most developers for real estate are only developing luxury and hardly anybody is touching affordable housing or even like um, middle class housing.
Oh wow.
So again, being on the lookout, like, but I cannot say this enough, level up, level up your income, level up your skills, because the worst thing right now is to be poor. It really is.
Yeah.
Q
Yeah. It
Go ahead,
seems like
Q.
it's only gonna get worse.
Yeah,
Honestly. Yeah.
yeah, it is. And it may never come back down. So the interest rates for mortgages will most likely never be 2% again.
Ooh.
So, they think that it's going to go back down to 5.5%. That's the experts that I'm seeing. So, but we don't know when that's going to happen. QB is saying, they say there won't be a recession, question mark. Know how many of my patients come in as a result of lack of resources and homelessness now? Yeah, look,
Mhm.
there are going to be a lot of people and a lot more people. And depending on where you are, also, I'm seeing articles where People with resources are fleeing certain cities now because the cities have become very crime ridden. So there's just a lot happening in the world. A lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Centria is saying, except their luxury is half baked. I don't know what you mean by that. Um, Ron is saying the middle class is shrinking. Yeah, it absolutely is shrinking. Yeah. So, QB, you have to remind yourself to join the email list tonight. Look, we're practically done, so you could just hop off right now. bwmakingmoney.com, bwmakingmoney.com, and all it asks you for is your first name and your email address. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I just
um,
want to end up by saying this. Samri made a point earlier saying that one of the reasons why women's jobs are being affected and why women make less than men is because women ultimately don't negotiate for salaries, which is true.
mhm,
I think I saw somebody's video. I think her name is Your Rich BFF. I think her name is Vivian, and she said that, which I do believe, that women are less likely to apply for jobs where they don't fit 100% of the qualifications,
that is
but
true.
men are more likely to file and apply for the jobs if they make like 50 or 60% of the
Mhm,
qualifications. But the
that's
women
true.
who apply, they are more likely to get the jobs.
Mhm,
So what I want y'all to understand, ladies, is if you leave here with one piece of advice, you need to be as bold and as audacious as these men, because one thing that
mhm,
men have is audacity.
mhm.
They may not have the intelligence, they might not have the skill, they might not have the finesse, but they have audacity, and audacity seems to be getting a lot of them far. So I want y'all to have the same audacity coupled with the skill set, coupled with the empathy, coupled with the intelligence, and I think you will go farther than, unfortunately, a lot of these guys. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah. And I look, these days you cannot afford to be shy. And when I say shy, I don't just mean introverted. I mean closed mouths don't get fed, you know, and if you are, not putting yourself out there with regards to your networks, with regards to meeting people, with regards to going after jobs, etc., uh, y- it could literally be the difference between you, moving up to the next level, whatever that is, or falling back, because inflation is still 6% last time I saw. And a
Yeah.
lot of companies now are not giving away, what do you call it, raises and things like that. So yeah, I say go for it. Go for
I'm
it.
like,
If
what's the worst they
you
can
have
do? Say no.
Yeah, if you have recruiters contacting you, just go on the interview, see what they say. The worst thing that could happen is you come back with a little bit more intelligence, market intelligence, with regards
Mhm.
to what's out there. So
Mhm.
yeah, Donna Earth is saying that should be apply for
The
the
job.
job with the confidence of a mediocre white man. There it is. Yeah, you should.
I agree.
You
I
should.
agree.
I got a job I wasn't qualified for once. I look, I was desperate at the time. I was in my mid 20s, and I said to that person, if you give me a chance, I will like study the classes and I will do whatever it takes in order to get this job and get it done. And they took a chance on me, and it paid off for them big time. Now you can't get in there and then start floundering around, because they will drop your ass, right?
Yep.
Within that 90-day probationary period. But there is a way for you to be mediocre, or not mediocre, but you just don't know the job completely. But they'll invest in you in order to take whatever classes you need to take, because you can, like Tam said, you can solve a problem for them.
Hmm.
You can solve a problem. So
Yeah, I'm introverted, so I know exactly how the shyness is like and how shyness has hindered opportunities for me. So trust me, I get it, and I'm not perfect, but I'm
mhm,
still working on that, especially because like I'm doing like a solopreneur type thing, so I have to build networks.
mhm.
But that definitely is the way. Just go in there with the confidence of a mediocre white man, and hey,
Yeah.
It's just I think a lot of people we have like, especially us, we have this imposter syndrome where we
Hmm.
feel like we don't belong, but that is honestly an issue of something that you haven't dealt with personally. So I just recommend that you really just go in and just deal with whatever it is limiting beliefs that you have, work through that, and then proceed from there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
QB is saying they sure have chutzpah and cojones. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. The final thing I will say is this: some of you, this is I would say $100,000 to $200,000 business idea that I want to give to somebody, and I hope somebody takes it. Think about starting live classes where you're doing an introduction to ChatGPT and charging people a couple $100 for like a 2 hour live class. Totally introduction to ChatGPT. You probably could get 5 or 10 people to pay you $200 a piece, and you could run those classes once a week, maybe twice a week, just introducing people to it. Because everything I saw was study on your own. And I believe there is a segment of people who don't want to study on their own, not self paced study. I want to come, sit in Zoom, and look at somebody else, see what they're doing, ask questions, and then take that information and like relay it to the project that I have. So
Mhm.
if y'all want a good $100,000 to $200,000 business, that really once you get the what do you call it, your lesson plan together, you could run
Mhm.
that thing over and over again. Ladies, that's it.
Yeah, and
And
use ChatGPT to
corporations
help
would
you.
probably hire you too.
Yep. There's platforms like Podia, platforms like Thinkific, Payhip that they can
Mhm.
host the courses for you. So
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
yeah. And QB said, just thought about prompting for grant writing. I heard a guy, I think it was about 3 or 4 months ago, said that he wrote his grant application using ChatGPT. You know how many grant writers would pay you to learn how to use ChatGPT to write their grants? I mean, you could honestly, like, I'm doing it for business plan writing. You could honestly take that class and chisel it down to an industry or just keep it
Mhm.
broad.
Yeah. I'm trying to outside of the Etsy shop, I want to do something else completely different. I want to create
Mhm.
a I want to call it a design as a service. You know how you have like software as a service, the
Mhm.
subscription models, but I want to
Mhm.
do that for art. I'm learning how to build a website. So, I mean,
I think
it's in the works.
oh, I think CEO, she's something CEO.
CEO Drive Her, yes. Kimberly. Yeah, it's Kim
Yes.
Brandon. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been posting her black art, black
Yeah.
professional art.
Yeah,
It's
I took her art class.
amazing.
Yeah,
I'm
I took her
sorry?
art class. Yeah. I said I took her
Okay.
art class. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. So yeah, I can definitely see that. Dawn Earth is saying we need Black women's study groups, break it up for different tech classes and hit it. We can do a lot together. I agree. I
Hmm.
think Dawn Earth, you should start that as a business. E
Yeah.
Dunlap is saying, I need a Zoom class. All of you who are saying you need a Zoom class, you want to do this as a class, maybe start that off as your business. Start that off as your business. Um, you probably, most of you are smart enough, you probably could spend, I'll say, a good 40 to 40 hours of just studying, looking at other people's courses, reading articles, things like that, and put a lesson plan
Right.
together and start teaching people. Hey, Mokomami. And Mokomami saying,
Hey.
Amen.
Hey. Listen, if you're over here and not in the other parts of the black YouTube sector, you're I'd say more intelligent than the average people in the sector, or you have more ambition than people in the sector, so you have an advantage. You have a leg up because nobody
Yeah.
else really outside of a few people on this sector is touching it. So y'all have an advantage.
Yeah. Yeah. Just use it. I mean, prompt engineers are making up to 800,000. I think even so 800,000 is probably for somebody who's been doing coding for years, et cetera, et
Hmm.
cetera. But I think just a regular person who masters just a portion of prompt engineering, you're going to make six figures. You're gonna make six figures. Denise Joe wants a Zoom class. So look, somebody in my chat tonight is going to create these Zoom classes as part of business. Thank you,
Yeah, I might
Mocha
have to make that happen
Mommy.
myself.
I think you should, True Mystique. I think your outline is very good. And I was able to see like what you did last week. I was able to see like how I could take that and translate it into my business plans.
Hmm.
Um, Fortunately, I have someone I'm working with now, but like I would have loved a class where I'm like, okay, I got 80% of what True Mystique is saying, but I still got that 20% of questions about my specific situation. Like,
Hmm.
I think you're gonna find people who pay $200-300 for that. You're gonna find companies, small companies, big companies that are willing to give you five figures to
Hmm.
just like consult with them
Be,
on, okay, we get it 80%, but we still have a couple of little questions for us,
hmm.
specifically. So QB is asking, how much are they making? There are people making $100,000 to $800,000 a year. QB. Nia saying, I'm here to tell you, Black women are plenty smart enough for tech and ChatGPT. Of course we are. Mokamami is saying, let's make this money, y'all. Look, somebody, True Mystique, if you don't do it, somebody else should do it. But please, I'm telling y'all, you can make great money with this. Great money. You mean you're not talking about high value this and low value that?
Oh Lord.
And bringing
Mm-mm.
things to the table feminine like? Look.
Girl, they gonna be the ones at the low value, the great value tables. Good,
Look,
girl.
absolutely. Let me tell you something. If the airwaves ever come on Black Women Making Money channel and we start talking about that, just know I have been possessed or I have been kidnapped because there ain't no way.
Mm-mm.
um, yeah. So Dawn is saying I didn't know what I I don't know what I would do if I made 800,000 a year. Well, you know what, Dawn? Let's test it. Let's say you make it kind of $800,000 a year. I hope by that time, I hope that you would be investing like 50 to 75% of what you're making. That's my goal. Um, I was talking to a couple of people that's what they do. They invest 75% of what they make. I'm like, I don't know what that would be like, but I want to try. Um, Nia saying I feel badly charging a Black woman that much. Badly charging them $200, $300. I wouldn't feel badly about that. Mm-mm. No. Do you feel bad about that, True Mystique, charging a Black woman $200 to $300 to take your Zoom class?
Um, do I feel bad about it? No, because if it's what the market wants,
Mm-hmm.
and this is actually a very high commodity, no. I think $200 is actually on the lower end of what it could
It
be.
is. It is.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Mokomami is saying, get paid what you're worth, and those who find value in it will pay for it. Exactly. We have to get out of this mindset that Black women are broke. We have to get out of this mindset that Black people are broke. Black people spend money on what they want to spend money on. And if it's worth it to a person, like if I came to, like if I had a job and I were making 125,000 today, and I came to True Mystique's class and she could help bump me up to 150 a year, yeah, I'd pay $200. I'd pay $500 for that. I pay $1,000 for that. I get a bump of 25,000 a year because I come to True Mystique's class and learn specific things for my industry. That gives me another 25,000 a year, $10,000 a year in salary. Ladies, and that could be either in my corporate position or it could be a side business that I have. I put up my we call it shingle saying grant writing. I use ChatGPT. I help you write your grant in 2 hours, you know, or I start a class or whatever it is. So yeah,
yeah, you
yeah,
have to like think of it as an investment. Don't think of it as, oh, I'm just throwing $250 down the drain. It's like an investment in your.
yeah.
It's an investment in your education. I would rather pay something cheap for this than like go to school for 4 years and teach you something that their curriculum would be outdated.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. QB is saying, trying to wrap my head around 800K a year without a boss. These are freelancers. The 800K, no, I think those are employees, but you can make 800K as a freelancer. Yeah. Um, Go outward for the money they will pay. True Mystique said that. Centria saying, yeah, I'd invest half of what's not taken by taxes. Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Dawn Earth is saying, I would be debt free, talking about the 800,000. I'll be debt free investing and have a side business, a few plots of land, and disappear from my family. Girl, yes. QB is saying, I paid $250 for a meal just for myself. I have too. Well, not just for myself, me and one other person. I have. Um, let's see here. Just seeing if there's anything else you all are saying. Financially Basic is in the building. After I found out how much for nails and a wig, no, is better to invest money. Yeah. Um, all right, ladies. Mokomami saying, I'm being paid more for mastermind or intensive classes. Oh, yeah, you've paid more for masterminds and intensive. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
there are a
Look at how
lot.
much GRE
Yeah.
and GMAT prep classes cost. Look, absolutely, ladies. So let's not sell ourselves short here. We have valuable information, and that is like one of the top things that companies and professional people pay for that. Professional people pay for that. So, all right, True Mystique, any final words?
Um, do I have any final words? No, I think I have said all I needed to say.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
ladies, if you want a copy of True Mystique's we call it, I don't call them flyers, but information, her resources is the proper word for it. She has a couple of resources she showed to us with the AI and prompt engineering resources, as well as her prompt like a pro with ChatGPT information graphic. You got to come be on my email list, bwmakingmoney.com, bwmakingmoney.com. I'll send it out tonight around 10 o'clock. So, for everybody that is on my email list, you will get a copy of that, ladies. Okay. All right. Thank you so much, True Mystique, for being my wonderful guest.
Thank
And
you for inviting me. I
abs-
really do appreciate it.
absolutely, ladies. Okay, we've got more good financial stuff coming up as well. Oh, ladies, for those of you who weren't here earlier, I talked about the fact that student loans, they're doing a quasi forbearance program. So definitely listen to the replay. If you have student loans and you're going to have a hard time paying them back right now, they're doing another program to help all of my ladies with regards to that. So listen to the beginning of today's session so that way you're able to get the information. It's a year-long program that the Department of Education just came out with today to help us with regards to student loan repayments. So that's it. Thank you so much. And I will see you ladies in the next couple of days. Take care. Bye.
Bye, everybody.